let's continue with the word of the Most High. We just went over Luke 1 and 19. Let's jump up to verse 8, Luke 1 and 8. It says, "And it came to pass that while he executed the priest's office," this is Zacharias, John the Baptist's father, "before the Most High in the order of his course," that's what he did. He executed the priest's office according to the custom of the priest's office. His lot was to burn incense, his frankincense and myrrh, when he went into the temple of the Most High. See, it's very important that you see this, because this is our custom. We burn incense as we're going before the Most High. It says, "And the whole multitude of the people were praying without at the time of incense." So the people were without praying at the time that Zacharias was burning the incense in the temple. "And there appeared unto him an angel of the Most High, standing on the right side of the altar of incense." And we know this angel was Gabriel. It said, "And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him." So the angel appeared in front of him, Gabriel, and Zacharias was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the angel said unto him, "Fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John." See? So we know in verse 19 it says, "And the angel answering said unto him, I am Gabriel, that stand in the presence of the Most High, and am sent to speak unto thee, and to show thee these glad tidings." So let's go back to Matthew 18. Look at verse 1. It said, "At the same time came the disciples unto Mashiach, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" So they want to know who's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Who's the one that's going to be above everybody? Who's the one that's going to have all this power? Who the one that's going to be exalted? And the Mashiach called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them. Now, these grown men. The Mashiach called a little child and set him in the midst of the apostles, the disciples, and said, "Verily, truly I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven." Because what is a child? A child is innocent. They're not polluted. Their minds are not polluted. It becomes polluted with the way that their surroundings make them be. A lot of times. You have an opportunity to, at least while they're a child, if you're a true parent and adult, to train them to be in a right state of mind, to understand right from wrong, righteousness and what's evil or wicked. See, that's why he said it. "Except ye be converted and become as little children who are innocent, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble themselves," that's like I've been saying, "as this little child," as he put that little child in the midst of them, "the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven." See, I remember we was out, it was some years ago, in the 90s, and we were all at this park, and they started stampeding, running. You know, see the mama grab her baby out of the stroller, and they just stomped it. That's how much they were stampeding, running. And the little children, we locked arms, and the little children ran in the midst of us, in the middle of us. That's what it reminded me when I was looking at this. They ran away from their parents, but they ran in the midst of us. They seen we were circled up, they ran between our legs and in between us. They ran and a lot of them sat in the middle of the circle. Their parents gone somewhere, they gone. They had to come back and get their children. Verse 5, and whoso shall receive one such little child in my name, in the name of the anointed Savior, shall receive of me. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones, which believe in me, these little ones that believe in Hamashiach Yahushua, it would better for him. He said it'd be better for you that a millstone, a big giant boulder, rock, were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Wow. He said it'd been better for you than to suffer this big millstone that will be tied around a noose around your neck, that be thrown into the sea and you drowned, than to mess with one of his little ones. But whosoever shall offend one of these little ones, just offense, offend one of his little ones, when they're offended, which believe in me, which believe wholeheartedly in Baal Shama Mashiach Yahushua, the name of the anointed Savior, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Wow. They say drowning is a terrible thing. Terrible way to die. But he said, if you offend one of his little ones, it'd be better for you to drown than to offend one of his little ones. When you drown, you're dead. It's a horrible way to die. But he said to offend one of his little ones, it'd been better for you to do that than what he's going to do to you. There'll be a worse death than drowning. That's what he's saying. That's why it's very important that we look at this word, we see it and understand it. Matthew 25. Go to Matthew the 25th chapter. He told us, Matthew 24, 25, Salakia, and 13. Matthew 25 and 13 say, watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. See? He said, watch. You gotta be watching. Knowing what to watch for in the prophecies and so forth. Because you don't know the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh, when he's gonna come. You don't know. But you got to be in this work. Got to find some way to be able to reach out to our people that they can learn this word. They can learn the truth of the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua, who we are and what we have to do. Look at Mark 4. Mark the 4th chapter. Verse 22. It says, for there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested. So it let you know. Some people are like, you don't see me. But the eyes of the Most High are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men. And seeing all the secret things that you think he don't see. For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested. Neither was anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear. Verse 24. And he said unto them, take heed what ye hear. With what measure ye meet, so pay attention to what you hear. What measure you meet, it shall be measured to you. And unto you that hear shall more be given. For he that hath, to him shall be given. And he that hath not, from him shall be taken even that which he hath. So either you have or you have not. So you have, you'll be given more. You have not, even that you have, everything you have will be taken away from you. That's why it's so important to have what? This truth. To believe in the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua, have faith in the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua. In keeping His laws, statutes, commandments, His rules and regulations. Have that first and foremost. You didn't get in this work. Find a way to reach our people, to teach our people that they can come out of the close darkness that we're in. But it's not up to us to determine who is who. You make your own way to salvation as you see fit. And hopefully it's according to the word of the Most High. Because the examples are all here. Go to Mark 13. And we're going to start at verse 32. But of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. So don't nobody tell you as you're watching that it's going to be on this day, going to happen on this day. Say, Mashiach Yahushua don't know, the angels don't know, says only the Father. Say, take ye heed, watch, and pray. For ye know not when the time is. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. So you say, Son of Man, Mashiach Yahushua, went his way on a long journey, in over 2,000 years now. But he gave his servants, who are the children of Israel, his work, their work to do, in gathering the children of Israel together, showing them of the Most High, to the best of our ability. We know in part and prophesy in part. And a Mashiach Yahushua in the volume of the book, in the name of the anointed Savior. The true followers, the true worshipers, the true watchers of the Most High, and for our people. We say, and commanded the porter, which is the one that's at the door, to watch, to look out, to pay attention. Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at even, or at midday, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. He find you in gross darkness, gross ignorance, in darkness. When you sleep, it's dark. Find not just because everybody got to sleep. He find you sleeping. He find you in ignorance, in darkness, not knowing. Because you're not watching. Because you don't know what to watch for. Therefore, he find you sleeping. And what I say unto you, I say unto all. Watch. See? Be looking out. Be watchful. Be looking out. To see what's going on. Why he said be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. That humility, that broken and contrite spirit that we have to please the Most High. We just read pride. Anybody that's pride in their mind is an abomination to the Most High. You think you all that. You ain't nothing. You already been made that change to be in front of the Most High? No. It's going to take a lot of work for us to be able to be there. Look at Luke 8 and 18. Luke 8:18. You see, it's from the old to the new, it's still the same thing. We got to be watching. But you got to know what to watch for. And you got to be diligently doing what he say do. Luke 8:18. Take heed therefore how ye hear. See, everybody, it's amazing how, that's why I always say, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. That's why I say, take heed therefore how ye hear. Because some things I know for myself, some things I've explained and I went over these scriptures over and over again, and have people come back and say, well, you never said this, you never said that, but I have said it. It's just, you ain't hearing. Because it's some agenda or whatever it is you have in your mind, your spirit, remember it says, many are deceived by their own vain opinion and evil suspicion overthrowing their judgment. That comes upon anyone. That's why you got to be able to know what it is that you're hearing. Sometimes them evil suspicions will have you not hear when you should hear. Say, take heed therefore how ye hear. For whosoever have, to him shall be given. See, if you have this, you're going to be given more. And whosoever have not, from him shall be taken even that which he seemeth to have. You don't have it? Even that, the things that you seem to have, going to be taken from you. Look, then came to him his mother and his brethren. He teaching. Just heard what he said. He was teaching those that were among him. Then came to him his mother and his brethren, and could not come at him for the press. All the people that was around that he was teaching. They wasn't there, but here they come. And it was told him by certain which said, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to see thee. So your mother and your brethren, Mary, who the church exalts so much, his mother and his brethren desire to see. And he answered and said unto them, mark this in your Bible, verse 21, especially you Catholics. My mother and my brethren are these which hear the word of the Most High and do it. Uh-oh. So what is he saying about his mother and his brother? They hear the Most High, but they don't do it. See, my mother and my brethren are these which hear the word of the Most High and do it. That's deep. So what is he saying about his mother and his brother? They hear the word of the Most High, but they was not doing it. See, a lot of people miss that. But that's what he said. Mashiach Yahushua said that. Another scripture say he pointed to who he was teaching and said, who is my mother and my brother and my sister? But these that do the will of my Father which is in heaven. I mean, it's clear. Look at 1 Corinthians 10 and 12. 1 Corinthians 10 and 12. Wherefore, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. That's why you got to watch. When you say take heed, watch what he's telling us from the beginning. Watch. Right? Then he tell us in Deuteronomy 4:23, where we started from. Deuteronomy 4:23, take heed unto yourselves, lest ye forget the covenant of the Most High your power, which he made with you. That contract, that agreement that he made with the children of Israel, and make you a graven image or the likeness of anything which the Most High thy power have forbidden thee. See? We got one power. He's the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham had a son named Isaac. Isaac had a son named Jacob, who the Most High chose. And Jacob became the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. Most High say he's the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he gave us commandments, like he's saying. Take heed unto yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of the Most High your power. Now we got to deal with that, because people will say the covenant is with anyone now. But no. The covenant is with the children of Israel to this day. Psalms 105:8. He hath remembered his covenant, which is his contract or his agreement, forever. The word which he commanded to 1,000 generations. Which covenant or contract or agreement he made with Abraham, and his oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel, representing the 12 tribes of Israel, for an everlasting covenant, contract, agreement that he made with the children of Israel. See? So that's clear. So we got to watch and do what he say do. It may be worthy. Look at 1 Corinthians 11:28. 1 Corinthians 11:28. But let a man examine himself. See? Take heed to ourselves. Let a man examine himself. And so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup that represents the body of Mashiach and the blood of Mashiach. Got to make sure that you're worthy. You're worthy by doing what he say do. When you feel, oh no, I'm not worthy, then you got a lot of work, to do. And we that are in the Spirit have a job that we have to do with those that are out of the Spirit. Go to Galatians 6:1. Galatians 6:1. You see how people have to be willing to be able to hear and to be corrected and to be shown the right way. It says, Galatians 6:1, brethren, talking to the 12 tribes of Israel, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual. See, that's why you hear me talk about spiritual all the time. A man has a fault. We that are spiritual, ye that are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness. You come with humility first, considering thyself, considering yourself, lest thou also be tempted. See? You come with all this hardness, being all forward, and most I hate forward hard too. But he used them for his purpose. That's why I say, you know that he's caught in a fault, you come with the spirit of meekness. That's humility. Considering thyself, considering yourself. Lest the Most High bring you. And you see yourself being tempted. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Mashiach, that we there for each other. Brother have a problem, you try and be there for him, with him. Not, disassociate yourself from them. For if a man think himself to be something, you too much to be able to deal with a brother that's having problems. When he is nothing, he deceives himself. So you're something. You already got your number of who you are amongst the 144,000. You know that you're number 133,000, or you number one, or you number two, or the 144,000 I'm talking about. Because there's going to be 12,000 on each of the tribes. So what number are you? If you may say. That's why it says, for if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. Rejoice in your own work by yourself. And don't let nobody else exalt you. The next thing you know, you exalted. Next thing you know, you above the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua. People ain't thinking about the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua no more. They think about my leader. How many times I heard my minister or my pastor? You need to listen to this pastor. I'm talking about the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua in their face. And they talking about I need to listen to their pastor. Are you serious? This is the words of the Most High. He ain't bringing forth this word of the Most High. And that make it so bad, I've heard them. Verse 5, for every man shall bear his own burden. See? So, everybody gonna bear whatever it is that you do. You have to give an answer for it. But see, we that are spiritual have to bear the burdens of those that have faults. Or else you're going to be tempted. That's why they say when you come to serve the Most High, prepare your soul for temptation. I mean, look, when the Mashiach Yahushua was weak, fasting for 40 days and 40 nights, who came to him? The devil. Trying to what? Tempt him. And what did he use every time? The law of the Most High. To rebuke him. So you pastors, you can't go and show your congregation what the Mashiach Yahushua used to rebuke the devil. If you're teaching them that they're not under the law, because every time he said something back to the devil, it was coming from the law. Every single time. Then he had to leave. So what are you doing? You inviting the devil into the church. You already kicked the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua out of the school system. So the educational system have the devil in the schools all over this country. And you got the devil and Satan, and serpent, beast, everybody you can think of that's on the left-hand side in the churches. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. Mashiach Yahushua said, if you love him, keep his commandments. John 14:15, 1 John 5:3. For this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. But if you out there thinking you a Gentile, you go to Acts 15 chapter, just a letter to the Gentiles. Well, it's more than that, a lot more. When you are the children of Israel, you deny that fact, you say you Gentiles, so what are you getting? Not the pureness and the righteousness of the Most High, in doing what he say do, because you taught you're not supposed to do what he say do. You're going to be the least in the kingdom of heaven. Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived. The Most High is not mocked. You can't mock the Most High. For whatsoever man soweth, whatever you doing in this world, in this life, that shall he also reap. That's what you're going to get. You're going to receive the judgment for what you have done in this life. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. You only going to sow to your flesh? Your desires, that's what he's talking about. Everything you desire, without desiring to know more of the Most High's word, his laws, statutes, and commandments, his rules and regulations, you're going to sow to your flesh corruption. And it's going to go into the earth and be cast into hell, the lake of fire, where the worms never die and the fires never quench. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. That's why it's so important to understand spiritual understandings. You want everlasting life, if you want whatever you're going to get in this world, go for the flesh. It says, for he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. That's it. You're just going to reap corruption over and over and over again. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. And we look at how the Most High speaks to us through his Son in these last days. Have ears to hear from what the Word says, but if you ain't studying the Word, how you approve of the Most High anyway? It don't work that way. That's why he said, verse 9, and let us not be weary in well-doing. Don't be weary in well-doing. That's only about doing what the Most High say do. Don't be weary in well-doing. For in due season we shall reap if we faint not. You don't give up. That's what he's saying. You're going to reap benefits of everlasting life if you don't give up. Can't give up. Can't give up. That's why Mashiach Shai told us in Matthew 24:13, but he that shall endure unto the end, see, you got to endure until the end, the same shall be saved. You got to endure to the end, the same shall be saved. Matthew 24:36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage. They doing all these things right now to this day, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. They were doing all those things until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. That's why we watch it. So shall the coming of Mashiach Yahushua be. Then shall two be in the field. The one shall be taken and the other left. Two going to be in the field. One going to be taken, the other one going to be left. This ain't for everyone. Two women shall be grinding at the mill. They're going to be working jobs in factories. The one shall be taken and the other left. Which one are you? Which one are you working to be? You think already in your mind you already there? I'd like to hear from you. If you think you are already there. Because some of you act like that. Verse 42, listen what he say. What we going over? Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your power, your master does come. So I say watch over and over again, because you don't know what hour, what day, what a night, or morning, or evening, whenever. You don't know what hour your master does come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched. You know a thief is coming at this time. You've been looking for him. He'd have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. You ain't gonna let him come in and take your goods and do whatever he plan on doing and coming in to steal from you. Because you're going to catch him off guard. He coming to catch you off guard. You're going to catch him off guard. Therefore be ye also ready. See? You better be ready. He said, therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. See? Who then is a faithful servant? Who then is a faithful and wise servant? Whom his master hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Who is it? His faithful and wise servant, whom our master hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season. This meat is the understanding of deep understandings, mysteries of this Bible. Blessed is that servant, whom his master, when he cometh, shall find so doing, continuing in his work, bringing forth this truth. Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. So he's going to make him ruler over all his goods. But, and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, in his mind, my master delayeth his coming. He ain't come when I thought he should come. How many people have said he's coming on this day, on that day, or they predicted that he's going to come on a certain day. He didn't come. And that was said too about year 2000. You know, a lot of people left. Tell them what they're doing now. But if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my master delayeth his coming, and shall begin to say to his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken, the master of that servant shall come in a day when he looked not for him. Gonna catch him like a thief at night. He's gonna come in a day when he looketh not for him. You ain't looking for him to come. And in an hour that he is not aware of, in an hour that he is not aware of, because once you leave the truth, you ain't gonna be dealing with this anymore. Everything will be taken away from him. Let me say, he that have not, even that he have, gonna be taken away from him. And shall cut him asunder. Here we say, gonna cut you asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That don't sound like a lot of love to me. He said, gonna cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. Those that have, they believe, they say they believe in the Most High, in the Mashiach Yahushua, but they hypocrites. They liars. They don't believe. We don't even know them. And he makes it clear. He makes it clear. In Matthew 7:21. Not every one that said unto me, Mashiach, Jesus, Jesus, Lord, Lord, or whatever name you use in calling on him, at this day shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. So we're waiting on. We just read about New Jerusalem shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. But he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven, keep his commandments, have faith in the Mashiach Yahushua, and fear the Most High. Many will say to me in that day, this is the day of the Mashiach, when he come to judge and make war. Mashiach, Lord, Lord. Jesus, Jesus, Christ, Christ. Have we not prophesied in thy name? See? And we prophesied in the name of the anointed Savior. This to save their life, people. And in thy name, in the name of the anointed Savior, have cast out devils. And in thy name done many wonderful works. In thy name, in the name of the anointed Savior, done many wonderful works. That's how we reach the Most High, in the name of the anointed Savior. So we done many wonderful works. Listen what he gonna tell them. And then will I profess unto them, not one person, them. There'll be a lot of people before him saying this. I never knew you. That's deep. They gonna stand before him and say, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity, ye that work in sins, ye that work in wickedness, ye that work in evil, in this evil time. He's telling you, hey, they gonna stand before him and say that. Don't get it twisted. I mean, everybody gonna stand before him. The Most High is giving him the power to judge. That's why it's important that we have a relationship. The only way you have a relationship with him is spiritual. It ain't carnal. It ain't the flesh. Look, 2 Corinthians 5 and 10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat. Hear that? We must all appear before the judgment seat of Mashiach Yahushua. We see what they're going to be saying. We did this and we did that. And that everyone may receive the things done in his body. The things you done while you was in this mortal body, this corruptible body. According to that he have done, whether it be good or bad. That's clear. So everybody gonna be judged on what you have done in these mortal bodies, whether it was good or bad. Listen, it said, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Mashiach. Are they teaching him as such? As it says in verse 11, knowing therefore the terror of Mashiach Yahushua. Say the love of Mashiach Yahushua, the terror of Mashiach Yahushua, who's coming to judge and make war. We persuade men, but we are made manifest unto the Most High, and I trust also are made manifest in your consciousness. Hopefully your minds are hearing this and seeing how powerful this is. To be watching and praying and knowing what to watch for. Why we have to look at Revelation 22 and 7. Revelations 22 and 7. Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keepeth the sayings of the prophecy of this book. You keep the sayings of the prophecy of this book. But you gotta, how's that? You gotta know the prophecies of the book to keep them. Do you know the prophecies of this book? You don't have to know them. Go to Hebrews 2 and 1. Hebrews 2nd chapter, verse 1. Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard. Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we should let them slip or we fall away. And we're not dealing diligently anymore as you are now. So it says, therefore we ought to give more earnest heed to the things which we have heard. So all the things that we have heard, and being watchful, looking out, watching in this lesson. We ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we should let them slip away from us. For if the word spoken by angels was steadfast, in every transgression and disobedience received a just recompense of reward, broke the laws of the Most High, there was a judgment that came upon you. How shall we escape if we neglect so great salvation? How shall we escape if we neglect so great salvation? That's power and authority to we, the children of Israel, forever and ever and ever, as we went through in our watchful eyes, in looking into certain things that we have been given this day. Some things were given before the camera started rolling. So you know what was given you. How shall we escape if we neglect so great salvation, which at the first began to be spoken by Mashiach, and was confirmed unto us by them that heard him? It's like in these last days, he's revealing his secrets to his servants, the prophets. You're hearing what it is that the Most High would have us to know in these last days according to his word. Look at what he said. The Most High also hearing them, bearing them witness, both with signs and wonders, and with diverse mercies, different mercies, not getting something that we do deserve, and gifts of the Holy Spirit according to his own will. Come on. For unto the angels hath he not put in subjection the world to come. So the angels don't even know what we learned today in peeping at and looking at the world to come. He would have said, for unto the angels have he not put in subjection the world to come, whereof we speak. Say what? So, but one in a certain place testifieth, saying, what is man that thou art mindful of him? Or the Son of Man that thou visited him? Thou madest him a little lower than the angels. Thou crownest him with glory and honor, and didst set him over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things in subjection under his feet. For in that he put all in subjection under him, he left nothing that is not put under him. When we read that in 1 Corinthians 15 chapter. He ain't leave nothing that's not put under Hamashiach. But now we see not. Yet all things put under him. So we don't see that. They didn't see it and we don't see it as of yet. But we know it's coming. That's why we watch it. But we see Mashiach Yahushua, who was made a little lower than the angels for the suffering of death. That's how he fulfilled. Crowned with glory and honor, that he by the grace of the Most High should taste death for every man of the nation of Israel. Because he said in Matthew 15:24, but he answered and said, Mashiach Yahushua, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. We read in Acts 5 and 30 and 31. repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. Go to Ephesians 5 and 15. Ephesians 5:15. Ephesians 5 and 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. So we got to look at this and know how to be careful in the way we walk, in our walk with the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua. Not as fools, but as wise. Not as being foolish, but as wise, being wise. Redeeming the time, because the days are evil. You know? We got to be careful how we walk. Not as fools, but as wise. Got to be wise in how we walk. And the way you're going to be wise is to be able to follow the righteous way of the Most High. Look at Colossians 2 and 8. Colossians 2 and 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men. Like these religions come from the tradition of men. Or whatever it is that man has created. That has nothing to do with thus say the Most High in His word. So I said, beware lest any man fool you or spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach. See? Get caught up in that, next thing you know, you caught up in following traditions of men, and not as the word of the Most High says. And especially not following His laws. Go to Psalm 73 and 28. But it is good for me to draw near to the Most High. I have put my trust in the Most High, that I may declare all thy works. You got to declare and put your trust in the Most High and declare what He has done.